Reputation. Do you have a reputation with the people in your life? Is it a positive reputation? Is it a negative? Is it indifferent? Maybe it's as it pertains to different subjects and different aspects of life. Right? We all have a reputation with us that carries weight. I believe it carries weight. And as we move forward together this week, we're going to be in the book of Ezekiel. And Ezekiel, this priest, was greatly concerned with the reputation not of the people of Israel, but of God himself because of God's children, the way they were acting or not acting. Reputation matters. And so I want to ask you this, right? What do people think of when they think of your name? And as you ponder that question, as you think about that question, right, how does it impact how people view God? Does it impact them or not? Right, thousands of years ago, right, when the nation of Israel was gathered under God's name as God's children to be a blessing into this world, right, God told them, your character matters. The way you live your life and follow me matters because I want the world to know me. So what's your reputation? Are you tipping the scales to Jesus, or are you tipping the scales away from Jesus? That was a question we asked this past week in worship. This is what's at stake in the book of Ezekiel during this time, the reputation of God Almighty because of the reputation of his children and how they were acting. And so, this past Sunday, as we think about reputation, I want to confess something to you and just let you know I'm playing in a men's basketball league. Probably not the best thing. I got to figure this out. I thought I was going to be better with my character, and don't think too lowly of me, please. But we were losing the game. We were struggling. The refs weren't perfect. They're never perfect. I'm never a perfect basketball player, but the refs were getting to me. They're getting to my teammates. They're actually getting to the other team. Right? And so we were kind of bantering a little bit, helping the refs make calls, even though they weren't listening to us because that's not their job. And so things were getting a little out of control with that. And then the other team starts winning the game, and they start kind of mocking us. And so a couple minutes were left in the game, and I fouled the guy because we were down, and the ref didn't call foul, and I yelled, hey, call foul. And then all of a sudden another guy in the other team decides to starts talking smack to me. And so I didn't appreciate that. And he kept talking, kept bantering, kept looking at me and smiling and just doing things that were aggravating me, and it got underneath my skin. Nothing horrible happened, so please hear me say that. But yeah, what I know is I didn't have the best character in that game, and I let that guy get underneath my skin to where he knows that he got underneath my skin. And so I'm a pastor. Right? I'm a pastor at Trinity Lutheran Church. And I don't even know if this guy knows this or not, and hopefully I get to see him, and hopefully we can make amends. The referees know this, and certainly, right, they know in the spirit of competition, right, guys will say stuff, and I wasn't out of control, but yet after that game, right, I thought about the reputation that I have, and then not just me, but a whole community. And not just the whole community, right, but ultimately the one that we represent as a community. Right? What do people think of not just me, not just Trinity, within the game of basketball, right, but also God Almighty? Right? Our character matters. Right? And you know this, and I know this, right? None of us are perfect. Our character matters. And so a question that I would have for us at Trinity Lutheran Church is, what do people think of when they think of Trinity? Right? We know that many people think negatively when they think of churches. They think a church is a place where people go that are full of pride and judgment to the world. Right? It's just about obedience. Right? It's about works. Right? A lot of people have that perception because a lot of Christians, a lot of people in churches have portrayed that and sought that to be the leading truth of what they are bringing into this world. Trinity is not perfect. Right? I'm not perfect. Right? And when it comes to character, my wife knows I'm not perfect, but does she think I have character? That's a question for Jenny. Right? I believe that character, right, is revealed most when we mess up. Right? How do we handle ourselves? And for the world to see the church as not a group of perfect people, but a group of imperfect people who confess their need to Jesus, their need for Jesus, and are seeking to follow Jesus. Right? And that a church, a community of believers isn't going to be full of judgment and pride, but full of love and grace and mercy and forgiveness. right? And that I can display that as an individual. Certainly I represent Justin Krupsky, but so much more than that. Right? My family, my church, right? And ultimately God. Right? How do we handle things when we mess up? In the book of Ezekiel, right, God is saying how He's going to handle it. Right? He is going to bring judgment on them. He needs to discipline them so they wake up and understand what their disobedience is doing for His glory and also for them and for their neighbors. Right? But God, right, in that is actually promising to restore. He promises a shepherd. He promises Jesus for them. He promises to be faithful and merciful even though they are refusing that. Right? That's God. Right? And I'm thankful that He does that for you and for me. And I'm thankful that His character is a character that you and I get to bring into this world. And certainly to confess that we aren't perfect, and to confess that He is perfect. And as we seek to live out that truth, right, of His perfection, our imperfection, that we seek to light up this world with His character, His love, His grace, His mercy. So today, may you represent Jesus in all that you do, whether it's in a grocery store, on a phone call with the cable guy, right? Whether you're driving down the road and how you interact with other drivers in your workforce, right? What you watch on TV, what you listen to on the radio, right? We're all representing somebody, and that somebody is Jesus. And so may we not be like the people in Ezekiel's day. May we be more like the one, our great shepherd, Jesus, as we live in this world. So be blessed, and character matters.